Your family may have given you a narrative, but Jesus gives you an identity. So what if I told you that you're not stuck with what you were handed? You're not trapped in what runs in the family. You can be the place where God interrupts the old and begins the new. See, about 13 years ago, I found myself in this office complaining to God when I got this response. People are going to keep calling you by your old name, Brian, until you give them a reason to call you by a new name. Oh, you see, God called my wife and I here to pastor this church 15 years ago. But about 30 years ago, they changed the name of the church, well before we got here. See, the old name represented somewhat of a bad season in the life of this church. But anytime people in the community found out who I was, they would say, oh, you're the pastor at insert the old name of the church. I heard this all the time. And one day, after 2 years of hearing it so much and explaining each time the name changed well before I got here, that I became frustrated and I came in here and started venting to God. Well, that's when I got the response I didn't want to hear. People will keep calling you by the old name until you give them a reason to call you by a new name. In other words, giving them proof that we had changed was also giving them permission to call us something new. But you know, this applies to you and I as individuals as well. It doesn't matter how much you say that you've changed. What matters is that you show people that you've changed. Jesus calls you and I by name, but it's not until we begin walking faithfully in who he has called us to be that we truly see the difference. See, if you're tired of being called by your sin and by your family's issues, then give them something new to talk about. If you're tired of people always bringing up your past, then give them enough proof in the present day to call you by a new name. Listen, please hear me out because this could change your life. You are not stuck with what you've been handed. You are not trapped in what runs in the family. You're not obligated to repeat the storyline that you were born into. You can get above your raising. With Jesus, addiction can end with you. Poverty can end with you. Fear can end with you. Anger can end with you. Silence and shame and cycles can all end with you. You are the place where God can interrupt the old and birth the new. Your family may have given you a narrative, but Jesus gives you an identity. See, he calls you by name. But the question is, will you respond to what Jesus calls you, or will you keep responding to what the world calls you? Fast forward 13 years, and I can say that hardly ever does someone come to me in our community and say, oh, you're the pastor at insert the old name. But instead they say, oh, you're the pastor at Lighthouse. You know why? Because our church family rolled up our sleeves, got busy, and started walking in who God had called us to be, not who the world proclaimed that we were. See, we didn't scream at people and tell them to stop calling us the old name. We got busy walking in God's calling on this church, and by doing so, it transformed who we were. And see, it's time. It's time for you to begin walking in who your Creator proclaims you to be and stop walking in who his creation says that you are. See, the same one that calls you by name also breaks the cycle of sin and shame in your life. So don't worry about breaking the sin and the shame because Jesus has already defeated that. So focus on being who he says that you are. That is some good news. Love you.